I think the ability to do that with AI is now actually making this tool, which I always felt was quite hard to scale, suddenly become scalable.
Within the experimentation workflow, you talked about the self-serve capabilities it's bringing. What specific tasks would you say within experimentation are now more self-serve than what they were before?
My favorite use case from an experimentation perspective, if we think about the fact that, I always ask this question whenever I meet people in the experimentation space, is when was the last time you watched one of those video replays, session replays? And almost always people say, oh, I can't even remember. People don't watch session replays, right? Like I think this technology has been around for a long time, but the ability to scale that technology has always, for me, felt like a hurdle that people just couldn't cross. So actually what AI does really well now is it watches those videos, or watches, because it is AI, it still doesn't have eyes, and it summarizes those videos in a, you're seeing pain points here, you're seeing drop off here, you're seeing frustration here on your journey. And I think the ability to do that with AI is now actually making this tool, which I always felt was quite hard to scale, suddenly become scalable.
Yeah. I remember like 8 years ago, we had a small team of user researchers. Their job was to sit and watch recordings day in, day out and just codify what was happening in the videos.
Right.
So yeah,
It's not
huge
scalable.
enhancements.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not a scalable. It was never a
No.
scalable thing. But
It was
and
the
I
only
think,
way to do it, wasn't
well,
it?
I think we kidded ourselves to think that we could actually watch session replays, for hours and hours on end, and then consume that, right?
Yeah.
That's watching it is one thing, but then to consume and figure out what's happening, where the pain points are. I always thought that was always a bit of an uphill battle.
Definitely. And then, so all the data insights that you're now generating, are you finding that is also leading to faster, more informed decision making?
I think we're kind of at the very early stages of the way AI is being used. And if we think about kind of like the adoption curves, you go through a pain point right now where people are doing a lot more with AI, but actually how relevant or how useful it is, we're still coming out of that point now. I would say what it's doing in terms of from an action perspective is it's creating awareness on what would have otherwise been blind spots in your organization. And then it's up to, and I think this is the part where people have to be really mindful about using AI, is AI can make mistakes. It's going to hallucinate. And so my view on this is, when you do get some insights or some actions or some recommendations that have been generated by AI, the first thing to do is to validate. I think when you blindly adopt something that an AI artifact or bot or something has produced, it's always best to just double check it. So internally, we went through this exercise, going back to that supercomputer. The first thing, before we even launched it internally, we had sort of like 4 or 5 of my team, myself included, where we had to validate all of the outputs of the AI. So there's 8, I mentioned that there are roughly 7 or 8 agents. So we were running code against each one of those, the outputs of those agents, just so we can validate. And we were finding that it was okay, actually. It was coming out. There are times when it does hallucinate a little bit. You get what's called a semantic drift, where it's potentially misinterpreted a KPI, or it's done it slightly wrong. So then you have to feed that context back. But once you are in a good place, it's still not going to be perfect. So I think there's an element of take it with a pinch of salt, do some due diligence, and then take action off the back of it.